In Tokyo, Japan for round number 15, it's not Kiri taking his first pole position of the season, and it's the Cable, Leo, and Revo. Marcus Nelson lines up on 5th position, then it's Yuki Tsuo, Murez, and the other Aurelio Pinnacle of Akari. Das Sanchez starts 9th from August Bregazzoni, iWorld, Piscietta, Vasichan Tan, Ian Babness, and David Kamino. Stefan Campo down in 16th, then from Daniel Bogdasarov, Loris de Klerk, Michael Novikov, Santino Milan, T. Gabo, and Tommy. After the absolute shit show that was last time out in Mexico City, we arrive in Tokyo, all 5 lights go on. And the Tokyo E3 is green. That's a very good start from Inokui. He is on the hard side, however, so U-Cable shoots up into first place. Ramo to P3 then, as we come through turn number 1. U-Cable from Yui from Ramo. Nelson up to P4, fighting with Leo, where he won his first race in his career. We're on board with Murez, however. As you can see, there's a lot of drivers getting past the 2 flying cars, having an absolutely woeful stop. Yuki Tsuo fighting with Rabo over P4, very deep into many turns. We've got a lot of drivers. Ocampo, 5-second time penalty. He's currently in 14th. He's not had the best season at all. Babness to P16. It's all off into the wall. Someone's gone off, and we've missed whoever went off, but yellow flags were flying, and that's all we know. That's all we know. Yellow flags were flying. Vasichan Tan got a time penalty, and that's all she wrote about whoever got a time penalty and the incident itself. Oh, Tan's got a lot of damage, however, so probably with Piscietta. Babness to the outside of Akari, becoming the inside, coming through the rest of the Casio triangle. Very late dive got that turn for Akari, who maintains 10th position onto lap 2 of 13. U-Cable from Yui, from Leo, from Revo. Make that Revo from Leo, if he can just make the move stick, because he's not close enough to get past him. Not by a long shot. So trying to get past it. Leo, it is still Revo right there with him. All he can really do right now is hope to get by. But he's got to get so much closer to the back of the Aurelio Pinnacle number 30 car. He can try and make a lunge coming up through the hairpin, but he just can't. But now, not Kiri falling into the clutches of these two. There's only one attack mode section on this track. I think there actually is 2, maybe there's only 1. We're going to take a look. I do believe this is an attack mode. The part is there, the attack mode. Detectors, no they're not here, so it is really just one place to do it. So Ravo now, right on the back of Leo. Akari setting a fastest second sector. Down the inside goes Ravo. Came from a long way back, and that is not quite gonna be enough. He's gonna have to hold on to the final turn, and hold on, he will. They've both got attack mode. Bogdasarov time penalty for colliding with iWorld, unfortunately for him, but Ravo gets himself up into P3 and is now free to chase after the Mahindra of Inokui, the Mahindra of whom they probably would like to dispose of quickly, because if not, Inokui is going to get a very big advantage when it comes to track position. Bogdasarov falling down the order when it comes to track position. He's dropped from on the gearbox of Sebo Campo to now down to 19th. Tommy's going to get past him if he's not careful. And a virtual safety car eyeing it. Babness for Hyperdrive Racing out of the E3. And oh dear, that's not how the number 14's day would have wanted to go. He's fighting to try and get himself into the playoffs. But with only 4 more races to go, not 5 more races to go after this one, that's not what he would have wanted to do, especially seeing that one of those races is Bern, using a similar layout to the layout seen in Spielberg back in season 5. And if you remember the Spielberg E3 that we had a handful of seasons ago, then you'll know that that track layout was deadly. So many drivers retired from races using those track layouts. Here comes Sanchez on August Regazzoni. There goes Sanchez on August Regazzoni. Simple move made. Ravo comes into the pit lane alongside August Regazzoni. U-Cable, however, staying out there. So it's U-Cable from, not Kiwi, from Leo. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that unfolds. Once again, I am putting out a notice to mobile game developers, mobile racing game developers of any kind. I need you to make a game like Monoposto, but with the Gen 1 Formula E cars. That's all I need, really. Because, like, Monoposto, to me, is a perfect game with one detractor being you can't switch between games, between different cars, and also that timing tower on the left-hand side of your screen is just stuck to be emulating this year's F1 graphics. And I don't like the F1 graphics. I also don't hate them. Cable's still out there leading this race. 22% tire wear, so he's definitely got a pit on this lap. He's extended so long, it's not even too funny. He's hit the wall. Your race leader has hit the barriers, and the race lead has swapped. Yui takes the lead. Leo and many other drivers coming up to the scene of this incident. His teammate getting a time penalty. I called that. That did not happen. And while I was watching all of that, Leo comes into the pits. Many other drivers coming in, but I think U-Cable is effectively just giving up the race lead. They're just extending an extra lap. I don't think that was worth it. And another virtual safety car. Milrez out in pit lane. Milrez is out of this race. And that's within the pits. That is the App Sportsline car. And he missed his pit entry. And too much wheel spin. Camino, 16% tire wear. He's going to make it to the end of the lap. But it's going to be very close. He's going to make it to the Casio Triangle, no question. But a puncture is going to be very likely. Leo also, who's staying out there on soft tires. He's one of only a handful of drivers out there on the softs, but that's because they all started on the mediums. And oh, yellows. That's for David Camino hitting the wall and losing his front wing, while iWorld is currently following him for what is, it is not the net race lead. Currently, the net race lead is in the hands of Revo. Revo is currently in the net race lead, considering the top four all have to come into the pits again at least once. But considering the strategy most drivers use on hards, and RQ is in a very good position to win this race. David Camino, 2% tire wear. His tires are going to blow up. There's no question about it. 1% for Camino, and I think he's probably going to have to pit on this lap. Ravo's overtaken him very deep. Ravo in the barriers. Camino in the barriers. They've spun at the same time. Yellow flags in the third sector. Camino has hit zero. Camino hits zero as he now comes through the final turn, and he's going to pit. He's lost his front wing. Can we see any ruptures? There you go. Front tire's gone. Rear tire's gone as he now comes down the pit straight. iWall also into the pits with him. It's only the right-hand side of that Braun car that has had a puncture. Very rough pit entry, sadly for him, but he does manage to come out of the pits and is still in this race. So both Braun cars bringing out yellow flags. Thankfully, neither of them bringing out the full course yellows. So still on board with Michael Novikov, currently right on the, I guess it is a gearbox in these Formula E cars, as he's now trying to close in on U-Cable. He's pretty much gone away from him. You can see that rear wing flap not really opening up. Close up, it would be great for him. T Sierra, however, trying to get past as Michael Novikov. He's gonna get past him on the straight, heading down towards 130R facsimile. Many hard tire runners coming into the pits at the end of this lap. And Sierra 5 seconds for colliding with Michael Novikov. He has gone ahead, but that was not a clean overtake by any stretch of the imagination. Dav Sanchez is currently the only hard tire runner still in this race. Michael Novikov is coming into pit lane. Luckily for him, he didn't have damage, Oh, Ravo definitely under threat from Leo. Gets past the Hyperdrive 7, does the Aurelio Pinnacle number 30, but you can see those mediums not working to Ravo's advantage, sadly. And I do believe Leo has just got a pit lane, which is why he's doing much better. Or is he? No, he's got similar tire wear, so there just seems to be a lack of pace in that Hyperdrive car after that incident. Just Clerk has gotten a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That's with the other next EV from lead car of Tommy. You can see the issues that a lot of drivers are facing. This isn't a track layout similar to a lot of others. It's very unique in a lot of ways with how much elevation there is. The fact that there's only one ERS activation, not even ERS, attack mode activation point. There goes Mercury to P3, Ravo falls to P4. And for Ravo right now, all he has to do is finish ahead of Mealres for the rest of the season, because Mealres is pretty much the only man who can challenge him. And Mercury is the fastest third sector of anyone. And we're actually entering into the stage of the championship where Ravo is going to win the championship. And that's probably the most likely thing that's going to happen. No matter what Mealres can do, if the gap is 60 points or more once we reach Sao Paulo, Brazil, that's it. That's game over. 52 points at Sao Paulo, Brazil. It's game over. 70. Hang on a sec. So it's 75 plus 3. 78 points once we reach round 18. It's over. And it just keeps stacking. Tommy with a 5-second time penalty. Oh, dearie me. We've got this entire Eastern block of drivers with a 5-second time penalties to their names. Ocampo, by the way, in P4. Ucable in P5. P5 would be a pretty good recovery for the Braun Honda Grand Prix driver. But Yuki Suro now on the outside. Can he close in enough to try and go round? He's gone onto the gravel. He's been forced quite a bit off, but he's going to try and take P4. He does take P4. Little touch with Seb there. Sebastian Ocampo with the other Andretti car getting a time penalty of his own for colliding with what seems to be a Kari, we believe. No, it's not. Collided with someone, I guess. Can't really tell who. As we see Santino Milan closing in on T. Gabo. Got 4 laps to go. Michael Novikov's having a new fast lap of the E3. Ravo is coming to the pits for his second and final pit stop. So a lot of drivers coming in for pit stop number 2. So I've got little clue as to who's going to win this race. Go on board with August Regazzoni. And I think the only constants that we're going to see are the hard tire runners doing suspiciously well. David Camino still out there leading. Michael Novikov behind him, still very close to the back of him. Can close in enough to get past. We've got yellow flags and out has gone Ucable. Your pole sitter out of the E-Prix. Oh dear, and oh, someone else has hit him. That's caused his front tire to just go shooting off, it seems, alongside his front wing. But that's the end of the day for the Braun GP driver. Day over. Unfortunate. Virtual safety car coming out here on lap 9 of 13 into the pits is coming out Huey. And he's gone onto the mediums. Mediums are not the optimal tire to go onto currently. I would have gone onto softs. It is now lap 10 of 13. 3 to the checkered flag. And if you're coming in now, as you can see Hikari do alongside Sierra and Sanchez, I would go on to soft tires. They will probably take you to the end of the race. As you can see, Sierra going on to soft. Camino's going to go on to softs most likely. But mediums are not my first choice. Not by a long shot. They will definitely take you to the end of the race, but they're not the quickest. You can take the gamble, you know, and go on to soft tires. But, you know, Anot Huey, he's leading his best race of his career. 13 seconds ahead of Yuki Tsuo. He is dominating this affair currently. The only man who could stop him was Ucable, and he's out of this E-Prix. As you can see, Sebastian Ocampo currently in 5th. And out of the race is Ravo, championship leader Ravo, out of the E3. And that means Hyperdrive Racing will score no points today. Virtual safety car. Stunned silence. Stunned silence filled of the crowd. Neither championship rival once again will score points. So this opens the door for drivers to close in on Ravo and his seemingly chokehold on the championship trophy. But Yuki Tsuo now starting lap 11 of 13. We've got 2 more laps to go here in Tokyo. And if you're wondering where all the editing was for Mexico last time out, it was not a good enough race for me to put editing on, so I just decided to release it as is, like the stock. So that means there was no race audio or anything. Nelson's coming for his 3rd stop with 2 laps to go. A 3-stopper is never a good idea if others around you are doing 2 stops in this championship, because if you're going to do 3 stops and you don't have a superior car, then you are wasting your tires. You are wasting an opportunity to go for the win. But as you can see, more drivers coming through in the 2 Denya turns. These turns taking out drivers like, well, things that take out stuff. But we're looking at Marcus Nelson then trying to close in as Tommy. Tommy going slowly. Tommy with a puncture. 2nd puncture of the day. And it's the number 45 Next TV Formula E driver. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. While one Hong Kong driver is having his best day of his career, the other one has to suffer with a puncture, and he's been hit by David Camino. Both puncture-ridden drivers with time penalty, but now Camino 10 seconds. And Okuri gets to start lap number 12 with a 10-second lead compared to Yuki Tsuo, but Tsuo closing in quite rapidly. And does he have tire problems as well? Because now Tsuo's losing out time now coming through the chicane. So, yeah, it just looks like he's had something a little off. So Tommy now coming through the final chicane. Unfortunate for him. He's gonna have to peel into pit lane and change that rear tire. Which tire is it? Do we see it? Yeah, we do. It is the rear left facing on, but rear right if we're talking about how the teams would take a look at it. But on this penultimate lap, an RQE on 62% tire wear, he will make it to the end of the race. 29% for Sebastian Ocampo. It'll be contentious if he makes it. Same for Regazzoni. Not quite for Sierra Camino. You take a look at him. He'll be fine. And it's literally only the Ocampo, Regazzoni who would be struggling. Speaking of August Regazzoni, he's going to try and get past Lawless Leclerc. He's going to have the inside line as we go on to the final lap of the E3. As forced off into the wall is Lawless Leclerc, spinning his car, getting back up again. 5 seconds time penalty has been awarded to him. 22% tire wear for Sebastian Ocampo. He's going to make it to the end of the race. It will not be comfortable for him, however. These guys are going to have to hustle their cars quite a bit when it comes to getting them to the end of the race. Will Ocampo and Regazzoni. Leo is currently looking to try and take P3 due to Ocampo's time penalty. He doesn't even need to get past him. 14%, 13% for Sebastian Ocampo. Weaving a lot coming down the straight due to the lack of grip. He's got August Regazzoni coming up the hill. Then another driver with similar tire problems that he's experiencing. But at Mounties face no real problems today has been an Okui. He's 10 seconds ahead of his nearest rival, the home driver, the home favorite in Yuki Tsuo. The home team has slept quite a bit, but coming through the final turn, it'll be an Okui who wins this race. He wins the Tokyo E3 from Yuki Tsuo as Sebastian Ocampo coming under threat from Leo. Then down the inside goes Leo into the wall. They both go. Front wing loss for Leo. Ocampo spins it round. August Regazzoni hits him, getting a 5 second time penalty. 2% on Regazzoni. VSC Leclerc is out of the E3. 2% Also for Sebastian Ocampo coming down the back straight. 1%, he hits 0. Just Regazzoni coming across the line. Ocampo also out of the E3. And that is one way to end your race here in Japan. And it will be a pinnacle. Will it be a 2-3? I think it will be. No, it won't, because Akari is not close enough to either Regazzoni or Sierra to make that a 3-4. So it will be as it finishes on the podium, as we now want Tommy not come across the line, I guess. But this is your podium either way. And Kyuri wins from Mahindra, from Yuki Suo and Leo. We do believe this is the first win from Mahindra in season 10, if not season 9. This has been absolutely amazing to see from an Kyuri. Third place is Leo, then it's August Regazzoni, PTR and Akari, then it's Iwell, T, Gabo, the top 8, then it's Michael Novikov, Daf, Sanchez, Santino Milan, Marcus Nelson, Sebastian Chantan, David Camino, Daniel Botsari, and Tommy Yolonfines as well. Sebastian Ocampo, Lars de Klerk, the 2 hyperdrives, Cable and Neil Rez. So in the driver's standings, Bravo leads away from Neil Rez, then it's David Camino and Tommy, then it's August Regazzoni, Daniel Botsari, Yuki Suo and Kyuri, Leo and Lars de Klerk, currently the top 10 drivers who would make their way into the playoffs. Just outside you have UK while Santino Milan, the 2 MS Andretti at fourth line, Marcus Nelson tied with Akari, then it's P. Sierra tied for 18th between Michael Novikov, Iwald and Isla Fabness, then it's T. Gabo 21st with Vash Chantan in 22nd. So in your constructor standings heading into the next round of the championship, Hyperdrive Racing still leads the way from after fourth line, then it's Toyota Gazoo Racing, Born Honda GP, and then Aurelio Pinnacle in the top 5 for the first time since last season. Next EV Formula E team is next up, then it's MS Amlin Andretti, Nissan Nismo, who tied with Mercedes Formula E team, Virgin Renault, and Mahindra. We'll see you guys next time then when the Formula E Motor Championship returns.